last time you guys saw me, I ranked my top 10 favorite movies, and I thought, there's a whole nother branch to this. I've had some movie experiences that have been amazing, and some of them are on my top 10 movies list, and some of them are not. So let's dive into another episode of A's List. We're going to throw in 2 honorable mentions with this one as I scooch my chair. 2016 was the year of superhero clashes such as Batman vs. Superman and Captain America vs. Iron Man. Those 2 movies, being Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice and Captain America Civil War, get on my honorable mention tier. They were very fun to watch. It's something that really hasn't been seen in a movie format before. Heroes, like mainstream heroes, truly fighting and clashing with each other. High stakes, protecting relationships, protecting what Batman perceives as a threat to Earth, and a lot of high-octane action on both sides, and I picked Batman and Captain America to win both, and I was 2-0 that year. So that was a lot of fun to watch. So these 2 movies get an honorable mention. Coming in at number 10 is Toy Story 4. This one was really fun to watch in theaters, because what year did this come out? It was pre-COVID. Was it 2018, 2019? It was 2019. I would have been... 16, 17, depending on the time that movie came out. It was funny. There were some really funny bits in that movie. And I remember, I think there was this elderly man in the theater who had one of the best and most infectious laughs I've ever heard in my life. He was just laughing and laughing and laughing the whole movie. So that was just a nice movie to go see with the family. The post-credit scenes were super, super funny as well. It tied back to a few scenes in the main movie. For those of you who've seen it, you know what I'm talking about with the new side character stuffed animals talking about how they'd handle problems. It's really funny. So Toy Story 4 comes in at number 10 on my list. Number 9, we have The Batman 2022. This one got me through a lot of tough times. It got me through the bulk of COVID. It got me through a tough breakup. I went to see this movie by myself, which was kind of depressing because I was going to take my at-the-time girlfriend, and then she dumped me, and all my other buddies were busy, so I'm like, I'll just go by myself. But it was such a high-octane adventure. It's really digging into the detective side of Batman. You get to see how his brain works, and seeing him emerge at the end of the movie when, like, City Hall collapses or whatever stadium is there, and he emerges with, like, that red flare and everyone gravitates toward him. That hit so hard in the theater. That was so amazing to watch in the theater. So that hits number 9 on my movie experience list. Number 8, we have Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. This one really surprised me. I saw trailers for it and I thought, okay, this one's gonna be, you know, a little bit more scarier animation. There were some legitimate jump scares and some legitimate scares in that movie, and I really wasn't quite ready for that. And I saw it with, I think, Jonah Blake and Gino were there with me, my best friends and my now fiance there to watch it with me. It was a fun watch, and we all came out of theater like, ooh, that hit us a little harder than we thought it would. So Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, borderline horror movie in the MCU, falls in at number 8. Number 7, and I know this is going to upset some people, but Star Wars The Last Jedi. I will defend this movie. I will. It's a good movie. Is it the best Star Wars movie? No, but it's not a bad Star Wars movie. I remember being on my high school swim team. I was so excited for this movie, and then I got the news that I was going to my very first weekend travel meet, which was great, but my first thought was, I have to wait another day to see The Last Jedi now. We finally got to the theater that Saturday night. I think we were originally going to go Saturday morning or Friday night, but we didn't get there till Saturday night because I had to swim halfway across the state that day. So it was a little bit extra waiting time that made the movie that much sweeter. And seeing the Scarif scenes at the end of the movie, and then the space scenes in the beginning of the movie where Kylo literally shoots Leia out of the sky, that hits hard in the theater too. So The Last Jedi falls in at number 7. Number 6, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This movie absolutely put me through the emotional ringer. I was sobbing when the screen went white and I thought Rocket was gone. I really thought our boy was a goner. But there was the emotional jerking, seeing Rocket's journey. He probably has one of the saddest character arcs in the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. It really painted a devastating picture of what he went through as like an experiment. There are also really funny bits in the movie. They had a really good action sequence that was great to watch in the theater. The soundtrack's amazing, but I remember watching that one with Blake Jonah and Gino as well, and that one was an emotional tearjerker. I truly believe that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is a top 5 Marvel movie. I don't know if I'd put it in my top 3, but it's definitely top 5, and seeing it in the theater for the first time was amazing. So, Guardians 3 falls at number 6. Number 5, Star Wars The Force Awakens. This was the long, decades-building anticipation of the continuation of Star Wars movies. Everyone was so excited for this one. Seeing Han Solo die brought tears to my eyes. Seeing all the new characters come in and the nostalgia. Let's be real, The Force Awakens is just a nostalgic repacking of A New Hope. But honestly, it works. It worked for its purpose. It introduced a new generation. And it was really fun to watch in the theater, on the edge of your seat, not knowing what would happen. Well, as soon as Han stepped on that bridge, I think everybody knew what was going to happen. But the gasps and the screams in the theater just jerked your heartstrings. So, The Force Awakens falls in at number 5 on this list. Number 4, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. I alluded to this in my last A's List video, and I've posted a short on this as well. The Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary re-release in theaters was amazing. I've probably seen Revenge of the Sith like half a dozen times before seeing it in the theater, but it is so much different in the theater. The musical score blasts at you from the surround sound speakers. You can feel the booming explosions of the space battle and the lava flows on Mustafar during Anakin and Obi-Wan's lightsaber fight. The sad orchestral score hits you when you see Anakin going through all of his emotional turmoil. I nearly cried a few times to a movie I've already seen 6 times. The theater made it that much better. So, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith falls in at number 4. Number 3, Avengers Infinity War. This one wrecked me. I left the theater and went home, and I think I just sat stunned in my room for several hours, processing what had just happened. Seeing Spider-Man / Peter Parker's death on screen for the first time in the theater with a bunch of other people gasping and crying around you. It hits hard. It hits harder when other people are watching it with you for the first time, and it's an emotional roller coaster like Avengers Infinity War was. I remember being angry at Star-Lord, bashing the crap out of Thanos when all he had to do was leave him alone. I remember seeing T'Challa die, which that was before Chadwick Boseman died. That hit me hard in the theater before even knowing what would happen. And then Groot disappearing broke my heart too. But just experiencing that in the theater with everybody else was amazing. So Avengers Infinity War gets number 3, and by extension, Avengers Endgame gets number 2. The amount of times I cried during this movie, I cry every time I watch this movie because I love it so much, and it's my favorite movie. But seeing it in the theater for that first time, I think I saw it in the theater a second time too with my family after I watched it with a couple of friends the first time on that opening Thursday. Musical scores hit so much harder in theaters when they're blasting at you, and that the way that there was loud explosions and loud cinematic music for the whole fight scenes in the middle and toward the end of the movie, but then when you get to Tony Stark's funeral and then Captain America dancing with Peggy in the 40s and 50s, the music slows down, and even with the loudspeakers, it's so gentle. And it ripped my heart out, man, in the best way. It was such an amazing watch in the theater. I've seen it in the theater twice. I sobbed both times. Avengers Endgame falls at number 2. But number 1, which was a universally loved theater experience by all. Me and the boys freaked out when we saw this movie. Spider-Man No Way Home clocks out at number 1. This one was a joyride of nostalgia and suspense and reconnecting with great Spider-Men in Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, connecting the new generation with Tom Holland. It was such a great movie. Seeing all the twists and turns and the redescent into madness by Green Goblin, and seeing Aunt May die hit hard, and the theater freaking out when the OG Spider-Man came through the portal that Ned made. And I freaked out when I saw Daredevil. Nobody else freaked out when they saw it, but I remember grabbing Jonah's shoulder because he was sitting next to me when it happened. He just gave me the biggest smile. But that was a fun one to watch with the boys. That was the night that my first semester of sophomore year ended. We went to see that as a celebration of kind of finishing the semester. And that's the first semester that things really felt like they were back to normal. That might have been the first movie I saw in theaters after the heat of COVID. So there was a lot of special things about that. But our theater went nuts when it was watching that movie. That is far and above my favorite movie theater experience ever. And that rounds out our top 10 for best movie theater experiences, experienced by yours truly. At honorable mention, we have Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice and Captain America Civil War. At 10th, Toy Story 4. 9th, The Batman 2022. At 8th, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. 7th is The Last Jedi. 6th is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. 5th is The Force Awakens. 4th is Revenge of the Sith. Avengers Infinity War clocks in at 3, Avengers Endgame clocks in at 2, and Spider-Man No Way Home at number 1. That's all the structured episodes I have for right now. By the time this comes out, I'll probably be gearing up for a replay of Deltarune on stream, and then June 5th, and that whole weekend is gonna be amazing, baby. I can't wait. Thank y'all so much for watching. Let me know what you agree with. Let me know what you disagree with. Let me know what lists of these you want me to make in the future. I write them down. I plan them out. I'll do them. It might not be until July or August with all the Switch 2 content that's coming, but it'll get done. Thank y'all for watching. See you next time. Peace out.